Welcome to the Freedom Property Podcast, the modern real estate brand empowering excellence. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. It's the Freedom Property Podcast show. It's been a few weeks since we've been on the show. Jake, how's it been going?
Yeah, it's an interesting market, this one, isn't it? We haven't seen a market like this for I don't think ever.
Well, I don't know about ever.
Well, we haven't been in real estate that long, but I mean,
18 years. That seems like an eternity. It's I definitely feel like we've been through worse markets than this, though.
You reckon?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely like still you can still sell properties. Like there's still a lot of buyers around. It's just like everything's a little bit more of a grind, which is fine. You know, we're used to it. You know, but yeah, there's a little bit more hesitation in this market, I find.
Yeah, I guess like Redland City is an area where there isn't, hundreds of buyers. So everybody has to know who the best buyers are. And if they do, then they can close the deals. But like those last 2 years in real estate agents, you should have worked a bit harder.
They weren't real.
Yeah, it was, they were the golden days. But, like what is good right now, though, if you get the right listings, 100%, they're gone. They're going to sell, no problems. If you get realistic sellers, no worries. They're gone, no problems. The problem that you have in this market is, the psychology. Like real estate is all psychology to me, It's getting the buyers and the sellers to align at the same time, and at the right times. And, all buyers in this marketplace, they're trying to get the best possible deal they can because they know interest rates are high and, they're potentially, if they wait a little bit longer, they're going to get a better deal. All sellers are still hanging into these big numbers that have been achieved over the last 6 to 12 months. And, they still want those kind of numbers. So, it's just about trying to find realistic sellers who want to sell and understanding why they're selling. I think that's a big thing for you agents at the moment. You need to understand why are your clients selling their homes and why are they buying a home? Because if they just want to buy one or they just want to sell it to cash in, they're probably not the best people for you. You need people that need these properties right now, that really want them, And if you find those people, you need to stick yourself to them and make sure you sell them something.
Well, this is that market, I think, where the advisor really comes in, you're not here just to go around someone's house. And if they say, we're thinking of selling, you go, no worries, sign this, sign here. It's like, hang on a second, let's slow down a bit. Why are you selling the property? You need to unpack a lot more than just, hey, we want to sell, it's not the right time.
Yep.
You need to give really good advice in this market. And that's where I think, the top performers in this industry are really worth their money at this point because, the difference between, getting that trusted advice at that time, is going to be gold to these clients of yours,
Yeah, like in these markets as well, like people are like the agents, they're going to get a little bit more desperate. So they are going to go in and they're going to undercut themselves. They're going to offer everything out for free because they just need to get a listing. Like they need a listing so badly.
Yeah.
But that's not the energy as a real estate agent that I would ever want to go into a listing presentation with, like needing a listing or doing anything to get it. I would stand my ground. I'd show the sellers that I'm a good negotiator. I'd prove to them, why I'm worth more money and why they should do better marketing and do the process correctly and get these properties on and off the market quicker for more money, So, it's a weird time, but I think as agents, we, you have to have some credibility. You have to make sure that you're doing the work. You're going to have to come in. You're going to have to make a lot of calls. You're going to have to make sure you know where all your buyers are at. You're going to have to know who the potential sellers are that are coming on. And you're going to have to do whatever you can to get these listings, or get in front of them anyway. But then when you get in front of them, make sure you got a good listing presentation.
Good time to level up.
Yeah.
Best time to level up right now. Definitely.
Speaking of leveling up, so the reason why I wanted you to come on today, because obviously we went to AREC a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to debrief AREC to the audience.
Yeah.
AREC's a sick, eh?
Like if you're not going to AREC and you're like, if you're a new agent in the industry and you're not going to AREC, you're literally, I think you can get these tickets for like $500. I think like even if I think you can actually get them for free if you just go and like sign people in. If you pick up one small thing from that, just like literally one thing that sticks with you, it's worth its weight in gold. Like the amount of times you just walk away with one piece and it just transforms like something in your life, like you might go away from AREC and you just might pick up a book, like just one book, and you read this book and it just changes your life completely. Like there's so many good little points, but I think for agents, if you're not going to AREC, because what it does is, like, we look at all these massive agents, you know, like you've got your Alexander Phillips, you know, you've got your Phil Harris's, you've got, you know, there's like Tom Panos, there's all these like big names, and like, you know, it's like you think of these people as celebrities, you know, and then you meet them and you see them and they're in person and they're talking. Like Michael Colossi was like sitting behind us, you know, turn around and shake his hand. They're just people. Yeah. You know, so it kind of like sort of, you know, you can be this person as well.
Yeah, it gives you confidence. You're like, you see people on stage and you're like, you know what? You know, they're exactly like us, or, you know, we do those things too. And, you know, it gives you confidence that you can do this. You know, it's sometimes you might think, oh, well, like we've got better systems than that. You know, like we've got a better process than that, you know, and you might think like, holy hell, like we're positioned perfectly for this.
Yeah, 100%.
We just need to keep going. You just need to keep going harder. Yeah, real estate agents, you gotta invest in yourselves. You know, like you got to go to these events. We went to the Josh Teslam one as well recently. That was awesome. Yeah. It was so good. I thought today though, what we could talk about was at AREC there was something they called the panel, and they got James Tostevin, Alex Phillips, Marcus Chiminello, and Phil Harris. Chiminello on stage, and Tom Panos obviously interviewed them.
Yeah,
and these are the four of the top real estate agents across Australia. You know, they're doing big numbers and they've been in the game for a very long time. But I made a lot of points on this panel conversation, so I thought we could go through them for the audience.
Yeah,
and you know, we'll just touch on what the best agents in Australia are doing. Okay, so I'll read out the notes and then we can just talk about them from there. So they're having very similar conversations to what we have with their client.
Yeah,
you know, like we've all got the trainings off your Panos. You can all see this stuff. You know, like we're all having very similar conversations with our sellers. So there's no like golden ticket. There's no like there's some better lines that you can use here and there, but very much conversations with clients. They practice, they rehearse, and they learn.
Yeah, they're very good with their scripts and their dialogues, but they're real at the same time. You know.
Yeah,
definitely.
They've got a growth mindset in everything they're doing, which is cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's exactly where we live as well. You know, like it's everything. You're always trying to get better. It's just don't sit still. Let's go again. Alexander Phillips, he's got 6 in his EBU, so his effective business unit. That was quite interesting to me because I was just like, okay, all right. So yeah, it's like you need your prospectors in your team. You need obviously people that are going to do the paperwork side of things, and you need your listers, you know. So yeah, I think like if you are running a really top end business, you need to be backed by the right people, and this gave it even more clarity in that.
Well, he's making 60 phone calls to 80 phone calls a day, he said. Still, you know, number one agent in Australia doing that.
Yeah, well, it says here, fanatical prospectors. It says that Alex, he focuses on his past clients and he does 100 to 200 phone calls per week.
Nice. Like for that amount of like, you know, for the numbers he's doing, you know, for like any agent saying, oh, it's really hard to make, you know, 80 to 100 phone calls a week. You know, this is the top performer in Australia potentially making more calls than somebody fresh into the industry. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, yeah, seriously. Yeah, and they also said a funny one was that 50% of the calls they don't want to make. It's not a warm call anymore. They haven't spoken to them for a while. I know myself. I'm like going from a database and I'm making these phone calls and I'm like, oh, like this person hasn't answered the phone for like 8 or 9 times I've tried to ring them.
I find like
you could like close them, couldn't you? You know,
when you hit that phone call though, you always get something out of it that's good. I find you know it's the one that you don't want to make that you make that always turns into something that you're like, oh, that surprised me. You know, you're like, oh, I made that call. You make it, you get a listing appointment, you get, you know, a tip, you get a lead from them. Something good always comes that one you don't want to make.
Definitely. Yeah, it's just a numbers game, this thing. It's just a complete numbers game. They focus on trying to get uncontested listing presentations, so more conversations and playing the long game. So they're not necessarily just going to catch and kill.
Yeah.
Like they're they're really nurturing and farming. They're
100%.
getting to know these people, building this relationship, and then hopefully in 10 years' time, long game we're talking here, in 10 years' time, they get an uncontested listing presentation.
Yeah. Well, it was like one of the ladies in one of the AREC speakers, I can't remember her name, but she said, she goes, the relationship, she goes, the conversation is the relationship as well. It's it's not, you've got a relationship, it's how you're talking to those people, it's the words in that relationship, which are just so important. So
nice.
Yeah.
The staying in their lane. We talk a lot about this on this podcast. They focus on listing, selling, and making calls, and nothing else. This is the top agents we're talking about here. Obviously, the people in their team that are going to do things, but they stay exactly where they need to be, which is speaking and being in front of the best buyers and the best sellers.
If you find yourself designing a brochure, agents, get out of there really quickly. You are wasting your time. Leave that to the professional.
You're
not a copywriter. You're not a
social media
marketer.
manager.
Exactly.
You're not a digital marketer. You're not a videographer. Just let these people do what they are good at, and you stay what you're good at, and stay in your lane, and pick up the phone and then put it back down again. Then pick the phone back up, put it back down again.
But have those good conversations. You're there to build a relationship with somebody. You know what I mean? You're not going to sell somebody's house that you don't have a relationship with. Yes, you will get the odd one of those, but the more relationships you can form, the more business you're going to do. It's that simple. It's not even that hard. We know where our clients live.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go up and knock on the door and introduce yourself and get to know these people as a person.
Yeah.
And if you're good and you're doing, good things in your business, good things in the community, you're going to be able to do business.
Yeah. It's, again, you just got to be a good person and do the right thing, and this business will come and look after you. They get every billboard they can secure.
100%.
That's pretty cool.
Advertising to the max, basically.
Yeah. Another thing was really classy marketing. They want to keep it classy, no gimmicky, no they just like everything to look sharp, which is cool.
Yeah.
They miss listings all the time. They always have enough, going on. So if they miss a couple of deals, it's okay.
Yeah.
But they've always got enough going on.
Yeah, I think agents I used to when I was younger, I'd just be they just mustn't miss anything, because I'm missing a listing and I'm just so down about it. And they're we miss listings all the time.
Yeah.
You're not going to win them all,
Yeah, you can't. It's impossible. And if you are winning them all, you're definitely not getting into enough.
100%.
So if you're I'm a 100% lister, it's just congratulations. You obviously don't do enough listing presentations. If things change, large marketplaces. That's like us. We've got a very good large marketplace here, and they're in very large marketplaces where they can sell a house over here 10 minutes this way, 5 minutes that way. They've got good core areas, and
I think that Marcus Chiminello, he at the start of near into his career, he said he wasn't going to sell anything under $1.5 million, and then he just made that decision, and he was still getting listings given to him under that, and he just had to let him go. And that's such a big decision for agents in the business to be if you're focusing on Ormiston, for instance, or Alex Hills, or just one core area, and you're getting listings in another area, to say no to that listing to build more in that, it's a tough one to do. But obviously, if you can do it well, like he has done, you're gonna shine.
And dominate your patch and dominate your style of property or whatever it is that you want to focus on and be the specialist. We talk about that a lot. If things, oh God, I've lost my spot here. Do you see that?
Technical. Oh, not on Quip as well, because that is the longest thing ever.
No, I've got it covered here. Hang on. Hang tight, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back with you in a second. Okay, here we go. There's a one-liner.
This better be good. There's a lot of silence leading up to this point.
Yeah, let's hope it is good. If things change for you, I'd really hope you'd come back to me when you're ready.
Ooh, smooth.
So you're on the phone to them, and obviously, they're obviously not a seller. But if things change for you, I really hope that you'd come back to me.
It's real. It's not scripted. It's you actually do mean that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're sitting down with someone, you're not there just to be like, commission breath, like give me the listing. It's like, look, if things do change, I'd really appreciate if you did come back to me.
Yeah.
Like that's an amazing line.
Yeah, I'd hope you feel confident enough to come back to me, or, that we've spoken to you enough times now to you respect me enough to give me a call, all these types of things. Something that we're really good at in our business, and this is what they commented on as well, is making really good notes on the last conversation. So, for instance, I could call you and I could say, "Oh, Jake, the last time we spoke was in November last year, and you told me you bought a dog. How's that going?"
Bought a dog? It just didn't sound right, eh?
Yeah.
You bought a dog.
Yeah, it sounds like you got your puppy. How's that go? You know what I mean? Like, but that logging that phone call, and especially then if there's anybody else in your team as well, like if it's a buying opportunity, for instance, and because we run buying opportunities in this office, so if I was to ring someone, I could log the call on them that I left them a message about Smith Street, and then yourself or Joel could ring them afterwards and say, I see that Josh spoke to you on Wednesday last week about Smith Street.
Yeah.
Did you look into that property? Just showing them that you guys are really good at collecting data and that you're all over your business. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's important. That personal data collection too, because you can really form relationships with people quite quickly on the phone. If you're coming in and you haven't spoken to that person that many times, you can say, "Oh, Josh said that you bought a dog," or whatever that you're talking about. Like it's important.
Yeah,
so
definitely, yeah. It just shows that you care enough to take the notes. Like a lot of agents, they don't even run databases. They don't even have like really good quality databases. And to me, that's like, I don't know how you'd even learn off those types of agents.
Well, some agents don't even capture your name, your number, your email address. They're not trying to provide you with that service. Which be very wary.
If you're a young agent, like when you're first getting started, and you don't run a database, like if you're not thinking long term, this is the world we're living in right now. Some agents will use their social media as their database. They'll be like, "Well, I've got heaps of people on my socials, and I just talk to everybody on my social media." And you're like, "Oh, I don't know about that." It's not an easy place to learn as a young agent. Like a young agent needs to be learning on how to put people into the database and treat them a certain way and handle them through their journey. So, young agents, give me a call. I know what I'm doing. I'll help you.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it had Matt Steinway in it, and he said they were talking about social media versus the actual relationship, and they still use the social media, but they did the post to social media, and he said, but the return on the investment was the ones that actually transacted were the ones that were already in his database that he already knew for 10 years that he'd been talking to on a constant basis. So the ones that, yes, you're going to get a good response from these posts and these ads and all these things you put out, but the ones that are actually going to transact with you, they're going to see that post, they're going to trust you because they already trust you anyway, and it's just going to cement that deal again. Yeah,
well, a smart digital marketer anyway can pull out the people out of your database and target them on social media anyway. So if you want to be really savvy about who you're targeting, then run a good database. Yeah. If when they're on the phones, if they answer, so if a client would answer a listing opportunity or a potential seller would answer the phone, they would send a card. So they've had a chat with them and they're not selling. They would send them a card afterwards and say, "Look, I know you didn't need any real estate advice right now, but I wanted to send you my up-to-date calendar."
Yeah.
Or just here's some sales I've had in the area recently. Yeah. Just it's like another touch point.
Yeah.
100%. Okay. If they didn't answer the phone, then they would send them a letter saying, "Hey, I tried to call you recently. I couldn't get hold of you. I'd love to catch up with you one day." You know what I mean? So they're still logging the call on the listing opportunity in their database. They're sending them this letter, and they'll obviously log the call that they left them a message, sent them a letter that wanting to chat with them, move the call back to whenever it is, and then they'll try them again next time.
And we used to send out so many letters before social media days, didn't we? But then we kind of social media happened and you're like, "Oh, it's okay. I don't need to send out letters anymore," Yeah. But now I think we've gone back to that traditional touch point again. And I think you're just going to get so much value out of these letters that you're sending out. People appreciate it a bit more than just
prospecting. It's just prospecting. Yeah. You can't miss anything right now. You've got to be everywhere. So all these things help. A lot of these agents, they had really slow starts and then they got serious and things started to explode for them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. There's a lot of agents like that across Australia that, they've been in the game for 4, 5, 6 years and they're going okay, they're surviving. And then all of a sudden they just go, and you're just like, where's this guy come from, or where's this lady come from?
Yeah.
You know, so no matter where you are right now, everything can change in just a tick of a beat.
Yeah, it's nice.
Tick of a beat? What was it?
tick.
Yeah.
Oh, a beat.
That's it. You know, things can change. You can rejuvenize your career.
Well, I think had Moses in here a couple of weeks ago, and I think he was a very similar story to that, wasn't he? He didn't start that fast, you know, and now he's rising star, and he's like close, you know, I think 28, 30 or something like that, and he's doing really well.
That's it. Yeah. Just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Phone calls and phone calls.
Yeah.
It's another point that they made. He said, there's a lot of rude people out there. Just get used to it. You know, yeah, it is what it is. Like, we get it all the time. You know, we have people like, you know.
Take it personally.
Yeah, they're rude on the phone. You're just like, whatever. Get lost yourself. I don't care. Close their opportunity and move on. I don't give a shit. If you're not making 100 calls per week, you're not even serious about real estate. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. You know, in our office, that's 200 calls, 300 calls. I want to see my crew making 200-300 calls a week. And then I'll start to think you're serious about real estate.
If you can get in the morning, get your 50 phone calls done before lunchtime, like, you know, you're going to set your day up for a win for sure.
Yeah. Running amazing open homes, again, a big thing. Run them amazing open homes. When people turn up to your open home, it's got to be the best one they go to all day, okay? Sometimes they leave 10 messages and then they get a call back to list.
Yeah.
And I've done that before.
Yeah,
like, I've had these log calls and I'm like, I've left this guy so many log calls. And you can actually, sometimes when you go to listing presentation, if you've got a good database, you can actually bring up their listing opportunity in front of them and you can go, do you know how long we've been speaking?
Yeah, there's a few.
Do you know how many phone calls I've left for you? Or do you know how many times we've spoken? Well, I do, because this is what you're paying me for. You're paying me to know the data. Yeah. So, I first met you 5 years ago at this property. Since then, I have left you. We've spoken 38 times.
They're the best ones that you get as well. Like when you get that one and you've done the right thing and you've sent them that many messages and you've logged all those calls and you just know, and then finally you get that text and you're like, hey, Josh, or hey, Jake, can you give me a call at 5? We'd like you to come over and have a chat about listing. And you haven't had any response off of me. You're just like, yes.
Yeah, seriously. Another one here, a little bit controversial, but they said if they leave their company now, they're competition. So it is what it is. So
controversial?
Again, well, you know, it's, there's a bit of that. You know, it's like I went to an event recently. And they were saying that, you know, like if an agent like leaves you, like send them on their way, like all happy and like, you know, like just be like, oh, okay, no worries. There you go. Here you go. Here's this, you know, no worries, and hope that they come back to you one day. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I mean? It's like, I think obviously it depends on how these people leave. If they leave really nicely and it's all good and, you know, that's not too bad, but if they're going to be dicks about it, you know, and
like at the end of the day,
this
is business, you know what I mean? And everyone's going for the same, you know, sort of thing. But like, I think as real estate agents, like we think, oh, we'll just leave and go, you know, in the same patch and nothing's going to happen. Like if you're a solicitor or something like that, you get like non-competes. You know what I mean? Like we're blessed.
A lot of agents do that as well. Like a lot of agencies, they do that with people.
There's stories of, you know, like some of your bigger agents out there when they, you know, changed companies, they took their phone, they took their database, they took everything they had to start again from scratch, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
no, but this, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, you got your leaders, you got your team, you got your people, you've got your brand, you've got these things that you're working so hard to build and create and look after these people and help all these people. And obviously, when you lose somebody, it does really hurt as a leader, because these are your people that you're helping grow. And then if they want to, on the way out, like tarnish your brand, then to me, that's like.
But yeah, at the end of the day, that's what they said. The top performers, they said, like, as soon as you leave, it's game on again. So it is.
Yeah. Be spoken about positively by the influential people in your database. That's a really good one. Like everyone's got, you know, like those people that run like big businesses in their areas that, you know, the street sergeants or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, definitely.
Learn to get to know these people because, they're going to be your biggest ambassadors. People will flock to you by your reputation if you stick to the above. Hallelujah. People want to deal with people that they think are real, I think. It's
Be yourself.
yeah, just be you. Do the right thing by people, help as many people as you can along the way, and just try to get better. Okay. Exercise is a daily routine. Start in the morning, plan their days around their training. It's exactly like us. We train every single day. Better fitness, better mental health equals more listings.
Body and mind, body and bind.
Clearly, it's working for you.
Yeah.
But you do, like, if you've got the exercise in during the day, you're just feeling good, You're just feeling like a weapon, and that's how you want to be feeling all the time. You want to be ready. Like,
you just want to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation so that the rest of the day is a little bit easier, like when you're on that rowing machine, when you're on that treadmill, when you're up at 6 a.m., when you're in that ice bath, when you're in the sauna and you don't want to be in there anymore, when you get out, everything else is a little bit easier.
Yeah, we do at least three hard CrossFit trainings a week, followed by ice baths, and we do gym a couple of times a week, and we walk. It's not that hard. Just get stuck in. Don't try and be different. Just try and do it a little bit better. All right? And that's, again, real estate agents, stop trying to reinvent the wheel here. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's a success pathway in real estate. Just do what the other successful people are doing, and then just do a little bit better.
Just be authentic to yourself.
That's it. What's stopping them from doing the right things to be successful? So they're talking about their team, and about the people around them. If you are a leader, you got to try and uncover that, like why, what are they waiting for? Or, even yourself, like why aren't you killing it right now? Or why don't you have 10 listings? You just got to really try and dissect your business and your life and everything, really. High quality skills by appropriate amount of volume, and it's on. So again, working hard and fine tuning your skills.
100%. Yeah.
Now, this is coming from some of the top real estate agents in Australia.
Competitive.
Play the long game. It's going to take 10 years for most agents. We've been doing this for 18 years. It's going to take you 10 years for most agents. Okay. And you need to love it. You need to love this industry. Because if you don't love it,
it's a journey.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely moments where you're just like, you know what? Nah, I'm done. I'm just like, oh my God. I think that's it for me. I'm ready. And then within like an hour later, I'm just like, you know what? Thanks for that motivation. I just needed that a little bit of time there. Let's go. Let's ramp it up. And then that growth mindset that we stay in there.
Right.
There's a lot of lazy agents. You need to work harder every day for years. Don't be one of them lazy agents. Just get in, get the calls done, get your door knocks done, get in front of as many good quality people as you can, get noticed, do the right marketing, get the right team behind you, invest in yourself, get in the gyms, let's get it going.
Started watching that Netflix with Arnie last night.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, his mentality is just like, he was calling himself the German machine, because he's like, nobody's going to beat me, because he's like, I'm just a German machine. So he's like, I'm just going to just do more reps, more sets than anyone else. And he's like he's probably spoiler alert, but he like lost his brother and his dad, and he's like didn't really get too affected by it. He's like, I haven't got time to be emotional about this. And I think a lot of agents, they like come in the mornings, they're like, well, I didn't sleep very well last night, so I'm not going to make my phone calls. Or, somebody cut me off on the way to work and I'm a little bit emotional about it, so I'm not going to make my phone calls. You know what I mean? It's like, he's just literally like, I'm going to get in, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm not going to be lazy about it. I'm going to work harder than everyone else. And if you do that in real estate, you're in the top, 1% guaranteed. And then that will transpire into something amazing over 10 years.
Good old Arnie.
Hasta la vista.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Ah, he's the man.
As long as you always think you can be better, then you're going to be okay. So that's cool.
Yeah, 100%.
If you think you figured it all out, you're probably, you definitely haven't. You're in big trouble. So yeah, as long as you're always thinking you can get better, you can grow, you're going to be in a good spot. So that was the panel. That's what we took out of AREC. That was one of my favorite parts of AREC, that panel of those guys up there and telling us what they do. So I thought we could do a recap today. I've got some good guests coming on to the podcast show soon, so stay tuned for some other exciting people coming on. If you are an agent and you watch this show and you like it, you should just hit me up on Instagram. Just like flick me a text to say hello. You never know. You could be sitting on this chair having a chat to me soon about your journey. I'd love to chat to you anyway. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. Peace out. See ya.